The first time it happened, I thought it was a mistake. Just a moment of curiosity. But standing there, in front of the mirror, I realized it wasn't a mistake at all. This reflection, the one staring back at me, wasn't the version of myself everyone else knew. It was something else. Something truer, yet terrifyingly exposed. I had always tried to fit the mold everyone expected. At work, at home, even around my friends, I wore the armor of who I was supposed to be. Polished, composed, predictable. But inside, there was another me. A me that craved expression, freedom, and the thrill of being seen as someone completely unexpected. It started small, a borrowed skirt here, a touch of makeup there, but the rush, the secret, became intoxicating. I'd tell myself it was just a game, an experiment. But deep down, I knew it was more. Much more. The real test came when I had to navigate the world wearing this hidden identity. Not in private. Not when I could hide. But out there, where people could judge, reject, or worse, expose me. And that's when Isabella came into the picture. She had always been sharp, observant, the kind of person who could see the cracks in your armor before you even noticed them. I tried to hide, to keep this secret world tucked away, but she had a way of sensing what wasn't said, what wasn't shown. And I knew, the moment she stepped closer, the secret was no longer mine alone. The first time I revealed even a hint of this side of me to her, my heart raced. The thrill of being caught, the fear of judgment, it was overwhelming. But something unexpected happened. Instead of recoiling, instead of mocking, she paused. She looked at me, not the me everyone expected, but the me I had been hiding, the me I was meant to be. And in that gaze, I felt something shift. Something that had been dormant, unacknowledged, yet entirely real. Acceptance. Curiosity. A spark of excitement. I realized then that this journey wasn't just about skirts or makeup or fleeting indulgences. It was about discovering who I truly was, and daring to step into it, even when the world expected something else. But discovery comes with danger. With exposure. With the constant fear that one misstep could unravel everything. Every heartbeat, every glance in the mirror, every step into this new version of myself carries the risk of judgment, ridicule, and rejection. And yet, the reward, the freedom, the exhilaration, the thrill of finally being seen, was worth it. Worth the fear. Worth the secrecy. Worth everything. I had a choice: remain the person everyone expected, the safe, invisible version, or embrace this unexpected truth. And in that moment, standing in front of the mirror, heels clicking softly against the floor, fabric brushing against my skin, I knew there was only one way forward. I was no longer just hiding. No longer just experimenting. I was becoming who I was meant to be. And that's when I heard the knock at the door. The first few days after I embraced this version of myself were surreal. Every glance in the mirror felt like stepping into a new world, one I had only dared to imagine in secret. The skirts, the subtle makeup, the soft sway of my movements, they weren't just clothing or accessories anymore. They were a declaration. A rebellion. A revelation. But stepping into this identity came with a constant, gnawing fear. Every text message from Isabella, every unexpected knock on the door, every faint sound from outside made my pulse race. What if someone discovered me? What if I was exposed at work, at home, even among friends? The thrill and the terror existed in a delicate balance, each feeding the other. Isabella became a quiet observer of this transformation. She didn't push or pry, but her presence was impossible to ignore. Every shared glance, every fleeting touch, carried unspoken understanding. The tension between us grew, a mix of curiosity, attraction, and uncharted intimacy. I felt seen in a way I had never experienced, both exhilarating and terrifying. I remember the first time I left the house fully dressed in my new persona. My legs trembled slightly in the heels, the skirt swaying just enough to draw attention without revealing the secret entirely. Every step was an exercise in control, every movement a test of nerve. The world outside was oblivious to the storm of identity and fear raging inside me. At the same time, I began noticing the little details that made this transformation feel real. The way makeup changed my expression, softened my features. The way the right blouse could make my shoulders appear delicate, my posture more fluid. The way heels altered my gait, turning an ordinary walk into a dance I hadn't realized I was capable of. But the external world didn't know this version of me existed, and that made every potential encounter electric. I would freeze at the sound of a door creaking, every shadow a possible threat. The thrill of being caught, the fear of judgment, made each day an emotional roller coaster. Then came the near discoveries. Small things at first, a friend coming by unexpectedly while I was trying on outfits, the mailman peeking through the window at the wrong moment, Isabella standing in the hallway, catching me mid-transformation. Each close call sent adrenaline coursing through my veins, a mix of fear, embarrassment, and exhilaration. Every heartbeat felt magnified, every movement a delicate negotiation between secrecy and exposure. One evening, as I adjusted a skirt in front of the mirror, Isabella appeared behind me. "You're different," she said softly, voice carrying curiosity, and something else, something dangerous. My stomach twisted. Was she judging me? Approving? Intrigued? Her words, though simple, carried a weight that made my heart race. I realized then that this journey wasn't just about skirts or makeup, it was about intimacy, trust, and daring to reveal the parts of myself that I had always hidden. The thrill of being seen, really seen, by someone I cared about, was intoxicating and terrifying at the same time. And as I stood there, fabric brushing against my legs, makeup softly highlighting my features, heels clicking on the floor, I understood one undeniable truth: nothing would ever feel ordinary again. I had crossed a line into visibility, vulnerability, and freedom. And with that crossing came both exhilaration and danger. Every day became a delicate dance. Between public appearances and private experiments, every interaction carried potential for discovery. Each close call sharpened my senses, the faint sound of footsteps, the creak of the floor, the unexpected glance from someone who might see through the carefully constructed facade. The thrill, the fear, the excitement, it all built to a crescendo, a perfect storm of emotion and anticipation. I knew that at any moment, the fragile balance could shatter, and the secret I had nurtured so carefully could be exposed to the world, or to someone I cared about most. And then, one evening, as I tested a new outfit, heels clicking softly on the hardwood floor, skirt swaying with each step, I heard it, the knock. The slow, deliberate knock at the door that made my blood run cold. This time, it wasn't a friend or a casual visitor. The knock carried weight, authority, a presence that promised change. My reflection in the mirror seemed to tremble along with me. I was exposed, vulnerable, caught between fear and the undeniable truth of who I was meant to be. Isabella stepped closer, hand brushing mine lightly, grounding me, yet electrifying every nerve in my body. Her eyes locked with mine, searching, questioning, daring. And I knew, in that suspended moment, that nothing would ever be the same. The door loomed in the background, a barrier between secrecy and revelation. My heart raced. Would the secret survive this encounter? Or would my carefully crafted world unravel in an instant, leaving me exposed, trembling, and irrevocably changed? The knock on the door echoed through the room, slow and deliberate, each tap vibrating through my chest like a countdown. My heart hammered so violently I thought it might burst. Isabella's hand found mine, fingers gripping tightly, grounding me yet amplifying the electricity coursing between us. I think someone's here, I whispered, voice barely audible. Fear tangled with exhilaration, and I could feel the adrenaline sharpening every sense. The skirt swayed around my legs, heels tapping softly on the floor, reminding me just how exposed I was. Alex, or rather, the person I was becoming, stood frozen, reflection in the mirror trembling alongside me. Every muscle tensed. Every breath came shallow and quick. This was the moment where the line between secrecy and exposure would be tested. The doorknob rattled, and I realized there was no turning back. Whoever was outside could step in at any second, and the carefully constructed facade of my life could shatter completely. Panic and thrill collided, creating a storm of sensation that made me acutely aware of every inch of my body, every detail of my transformation, the skirt brushing my thighs, the subtle blush highlighting my cheeks, the faint shimmer of eyeliner framing my eyes. Isabella leaned closer, whispering, "Stay calm. Whatever happens, we handle it together." Her voice was steady, yet her proximity sent a jolt of heat through me. I nodded, heart racing faster, every nerve alert. The handle turned slowly. The door creaked. Time seemed to stretch. I caught my own reflection in the mirror and hardly recognized myself, someone delicate yet daring, vulnerable yet unflinchingly real. A shadow appeared in the doorway. My stomach twisted. Exposure felt imminent, terrifying, intoxicating all at once. The figure paused, hesitation flickering in their movement. My pulse thundered as I held my breath, waiting, every instinct screaming to flee or hide, yet part of me wanted to face it, wanted to stand fully in this identity I had nurtured in secrecy. Then the unthinkable happened. The shadow spoke, voice teasing yet approving. "Well, that's unexpected." Alex, Ormeva froze, skirt swaying with the sudden intake of breath. The words hung heavy in the air, laced with judgment, curiosity, and the thrill of revelation. We exchanged a glance, Isabella and I, hearts pounding in sync. The moment stretched, fragile and electric. One step, one word, and everything could change. The skirt, the makeup, the persona, it wasn't just clothing or a mask. It was a declaration. A challenge. A truth that demanded recognition. The figure in the doorway took another step, closer, and I felt the weight of possibility pressing down. Would they reject me? Laugh? Or, dare I hope, accept me? And just as my courage surged, ready to confront this unexpected exposure, the screen would fade to black, leaving viewers suspended. Who was really at the door? Will this secret survive the scrutiny? How will this moment redefine relationships, trust, and identity? The silence after that moment felt heavier than any scream. No one spoke. Not me. Not Isabella. Not the figure standing just beyond the doorway. My breath came slow, controlled, forced, because one wrong move would shatter everything. The skirt brushed my legs when I shifted my weight, a soft reminder that there was no disguise left, no version of me to retreat into. This was real. Fully visible. Fully exposed. The person at the door didn't step back. They stepped closer. Their eyes moved over me, not mocking, not shocked, but searching. Measuring. As if they were trying to reconcile two truths at once. The version they thought they knew, and the one standing right in front of them. Isabella squeezed my hand. Not to hide me. Not to pull me away. To steady me. That single gesture changed everything. Because in that instant, I understood something that had been building all along. This wasn't about being discovered anymore. This was about being claimed, by myself first. My heart pounded, not with panic now, but with something sharper. Resolve. I straightened my posture. Let the fear drain from my shoulders. Let the tension in my legs become confidence instead of collapse. If this was the moment the world decided who I was allowed to be, then I wasn't shrinking for it. The figure finally spoke again. Is this who you are now? The question wasn't cruel. It wasn't gentle either. It was dangerous, because it demanded an answer. I opened my mouth, then stopped. Because once I said it out loud, nothing could be taken back. Every secret. Every hidden moment. Every private truth stitched into fabric and silence. I looked at Isabella. Her expression wasn't worried. It was proud. And that was the moment I realized the real risk wasn't being judged. It was choosing whether I would finally stop hiding. I took a breath. And before I could speak, the screen cuts. From broken to beautiful, Layla changed everything.